Welcome back to Runiverse. I'm Andrew. In this video, I'm continuing my playthrough the RoboMon prototype. As I post a video, they are currently crowdfunding on GameFound, so check out the link in the description. You can find more content creators, coverage of the game, also how you can get the final copy for yourself. This is a full spoiler playthrough, so if that's not what you're interested in, again, check out the other content creators. You are welcome to join me as I go into the Pyrite Cave. But if you missed the first few videos, you might want to check out my first video in the series, which is a tutorial playthrough starting from the beginning. I have Pandal and Treadle out here as kind of like my main go-tos, but my team is actually 5 RoboMon so far out of the maximum of 6. So that's Pandal, Treadle, Sparky, Burn Viper, and this guy, my newest addition, Regenair. So got room for one more slot, and then again you can have as many RoboMon as you want. In fact, gotta catch them all, right? But with that out of the way, let's get into the Pyrite Cave and hit the music. That QR code. Pyrite Cave was once a bustling network of mining operations that provided many valuable resources for the production of RoboMon and other technologies. However, in recent years, the mineral deposits were depleted, and the mining companies moved on to other areas. Now the cave is more of a tourist destination and a pass-through to get from one side of the mountain to the other. Most of the tunnels have been blocked off, but there are still interesting areas to explore. And rumor has it, there are still some valuable minerals that the miners left behind. Taking a look at this search table, those minerals certainly are not here. And we can take a look at the RoboMon Finder table. RoboMon's number 9, 17, and 23 are somewhere lurking around. And let's take a look at this map before we delve in. So I'm technically coming in from this way, thematically speaking, but the entire map is available to me mechanically speaking. So maybe I will just get these searches out of the way, these 2 search icons, and see what we pick up. So I'm gonna roll a D4. For 1 is a 3, that's a wire, and the other is a 3, that's another wire. Well, it puts me up to 5 wires. Haven't gotten any coolant or gears or power cores or springs. And I've been ending each playthrough pretty much with a RoboMon Finder search, but now I'm kind of in the mood to just kick off with one and see what RoboMon Fate has for me. I'm going to spend as few batteries as possible to find a RoboMon, so no hunting rares this time. I guess the rares would be 23 because it's only available with a 6. But again, whatever happens, happens. So I will roll 2d6, 2 5s, actually puts me like this, which is an empty grid space there, but by spending 1 battery, I can turn this 5 to a 4 and find 17, or I could turn this 5 into a 2 and find 17. It's a weird chart, 1, 2, 5, 6, 4, 5, 6. But yeah, this 5, well, I guess I'd have to spend 3 batteries to turn 5 into a 2, even though they're adjacent on the chart, they're 3 away. So yeah, I'll change this 5 into a 4 with a battery. I need to spend 1 battery up front and 1 battery to change the die. So I'm down to 9, and I'm encountering RoboMon 17. Is that one I've seen before? Number 17 sounds familiar. This is an Armadigo. I think I fought against one of these with a RoboMon trainer. Now I can capture one of my own. And peeking back at Copper Ridge, 17 was the RoboMon that was more commonly appearing, and I just skipped over that. They can also be found on the old road. I didn't find them there either. So finally I got myself an Armadigo in my sights. So as you know by now, wild RoboMon battles do not use the battle grid. We're just going to assign initiatives based on speed. I could also switch out my RoboMon at this point, but that's too much work. So got 50, 34, and 28. And I will be going first. Roll 7 dice. Got 1 timer. It's 1 out of 5 before Armadigo decides to run away. So I guess we should take a closer look. That's the 5 timer. That's how many time it will suffer before it decides it's getting out of here. 9 is its health. 4 is its speed, which we won't be using in this battle. 2, the 2 on that shield is how much damage is blocked, but it only gets 1 of those. So 1, 2 armor token. 34 is speed, which we use to set the initiative, and then it has scratch, rock throw, and burrow, which we'll use based on a D4 roll, which also determines what RoboMon it will target. But Pandal is first. We need to get through the armor, and then 9 health. We got a lot of armor of our own, along with some specials. But a fire attack would be disadvantaged against a rock type. Pandal started with 11 energy, and I think I'm going to have it use Slam. That Slam will cost 1 energy, and I'm going to actually spend both of these wilds as basic attacks, which means you got to spend 2 energy to to convert the wilds, plus the 1. That's a total of 3 out of his 11 energy that he starts each battle with. In order to slam with 2 dice, because we're using 2, we use the second number, which is a 3. He's attacking for 3. Slam does not have a type, so we don't need to use advantage or disadvantage, just the basic modifier die. 3 plus 1 is a 4. 4 damage minus 2 armor is 2, so put 2 damage on Armadigo, which now has 7 health left. Which does concern me, because I don't want to knock it out. But Armadigo gets to go next, so we'll roll a d4. 4 means it's going to use Burrow, because you can see the 3 or 4 it uses Burrow. 4 also means it's going to target a fire type if it can. That would be Pandal, so Pandal's being attacked. It has a movement ability, which doesn't apply in a wild battle, so it's just 3 damage, but since it is a rock type attack, and rock is strong against fire, we're going to have to roll this green modifier die with the 3 damage. Crit means it doubles to 6, so it's a good thing I saved these 2 armor dice, and each RoboMon gets their combat token. We're going to use this for a shield as well, so it's 2, 4, 6 blocking. Pandal doesn't have to take any damage. Then it is Treadle's turn. Armadigo has 5 health. Now, all I've got left are these 2 special attack tokens. If I use even one of them and have Treadle use Fertilizer Bomb, that's going to do 4 damage, plus grass has advantage against earth, and we'd have to roll the green modifier die. And there's a 50% chance we roll +2, which would be perfect. The other 50% chance is that we either get +3 or double damage, meaning we would do either 7 or 8 damage, and that would knock out Armadigo. And we can't catch it. So I'm going to use Clamp instead. That's going to cost 2 energy, and I'm going to use this attack token as a basic attack symbol. So we're just clamping for 1, which is not much. And we're going to use the basic modifier die because this is not a grass attack. And roll a die. We got a 0, so it's just going to be an unmodified 1 damage. Putting Armadigo up to 3 out of 9, 6 remaining. Go back to the top with a new round. Roll all 9 of our action dice. Pandal's still going to be first. 3 wilds, 3 specials, and a movement. I think I would like Pandal to slam for 3. So I'm going to spend 2 wild dice again. Slam is 1 energy, so that's a total of 3 spent. I'm using weak attacks just to try to wear down the Armadigo. We're doing 3 damage, plus 2 is 5, which, perfect, because that puts it at 1 health remaining. So that was risky business. Armadigo gets its attack, which is a 3, which is Burrow again against an electric type if it can. There are no electric types, so it'll do a fire type, which there is. So that's another advantaged 3 damage against Pandal. Plus 3 is 6. I will defend with this token for 2. Spend 1 energy to turn this wild into a defend. That's 4, but we still take 2 damage, and Pandal now has 3 damage on it. Then we go to Treadle's turn. I'm going to spend Treadle's turn using a reprogrammer. There's only 1 health left, so I'm going to use one of my small reprogrammers, which means I get to use a D4 and try to capture the Armadigo or reprogram it. And let's see how we do. All right, so it is on the yellow line, so it counts as being in the yellow section, which is a +1. 4 plus 1 is 5. 5 is more than the 1 health that Armadigo has left, so that's successful. And Armadigo joins my team. And clean up the combat, put this verse card back in the deck, in the verse stack, that is, and find Armadigo number 17 from the RoboMon stack, which means this is going to go on our team. And interesting, this has a charisma bonus. So now our charisma will be a little bit better as long as we keep Armadigo around. And this is our 6th RoboMon. So after this, future RoboMon will have to go to our save box. So let's pop this guy out and get that guy joining the ranks, put him in reserve over here. We're also going to add to our journal deck, Armadigo digs small trenches for underground utility systems. So far we have Pandal, Sparky, Treadle, Burn Viper, Reginaire, and now Armadigo in our journal to share with Grant. It's back in the Pyrite Cave. Our RoboMon are back up to maximum energy, but Pandal still has 3 damage on it. And let's start exploring with this exploration icon, 28. 2816 will be our adventure book entry. In the darkness of the cave, you make out an old mining shaft. The rocks had tumbled in long ago, an old cave-in. A mix of stone, wood, metal, and wires. Nothing seems particularly usable, and at first you decide to simply move on. There's a beeping sound, and you pause. The silence of the cave is only broken by the movement of an underground river and the occasional drip. No wind, no nature, just the endless quiet of stone and earth. And then again, beep! You get closer to the cave and listen for a long time. Something is in there. Something perhaps still functional, still usable. You begin to look around and find a long, sturdy support beam that is intact. You press it into the pile for leverage, and then listen and wait. And wait some more. Beep! So now I need to make a strength check, which means the character sheet comes back out. My strength is a 0. As you can see, Armadigo is still sitting here. He would give me a charisma bonus. Pandal actually has a strength bonus, so that is a +1. He's the only one that can help me, so I'm going to get +1 to a 2d6 roll. Let's hope for something good. 4, 5, 6, +1 is 7. Just barely made it. On a 7 to 9, you push and pry loose a large stone and shift it aside. It tumbles away and you shift a few more. Beep! You push again and again and the sound gets closer. Beep! When there's one last stone with a heavy grunt, you push it over. There is an unfortunate sound. Crack. Gain a spring and a medal. So whatever it is I broke, but I'm okay with that. I think that's my first spring. And I now have 2 metal. There's this door that's been barred closed. Yeah, why not check it out? 3316. A haphazard wooden wall blocks the path, but you're able to barely slip past a couple of loose boards. As you walk, you trip on a stone and find yourself tumbling into a pile of rocks. One arm slips through a gap and you feel something metallic. Intrigued, you begin to pull the stones away from the wall, soon realizing that what you'd felt was a door of some kind, although its make and markings are nothing like you've seen or studied. However, you know an entry keypad when you see one, and even though the runes on the door aren't familiar to you, you're at least half sure you can figure out the code. So this is a difficulty 2 puzzle. Take some time with that because then I'm going to turn to my answer for a journal entry and see what happens. So that took me a few minutes, but here we are. I've obscured the answer so you can't see where we are, but you can see what happens when you put in the correct code because it does appear that I got it correct. It says you nervously type in the code and the door pops open with a click. You reach inside and pull out something you've never seen before. It looks ancient. You're not really sure what to do with it. On the front it reads VHS. You wonder if it was once used to make food. Draw card 20 from the adventure deck. Oh, so we get to go into here again and find some history. Now we just need a VHS player of some kind, whatever that might look like. VHS tape 89 found in the cave. This is going to join some other objects and cards I'd put in the save box, such as some quests and other items I've picked up, like a broken watch, in my previous sessions. So continuing our little journey here, let's talk to this guy, 2216. It looks like this guy's looking for a battle, so let's get this out of the way and have a competitive battle in the cave. Hit the music, and Miner Zeke says, if you want to pick a fight with me, I'll make you wish you mind your own business. That's a mining joke. He's got 2 RoboMon, number 9 and 23. 9, 23. Nosferatu faced one of these before, and a Scorpio. If we have a competitive battle, we won't be using the timer, but we will be using movement. Let's get these set up. And you know what? I'm thinking Treadle might not be the best for cave battles. His climb ability says that he gets extra speed against trees, otherwise he's really very slow. I think I'm going to send out Regenair instead. Looking forward to seeing him in action. He only gets 6 energy though, but 66 speed means he's first, followed by the Scorpio, Pandal, and Nosferatu. So let's roll up our action dice and get started. Got some movement, but not a ton, and some attacking. Regenair has Tailspin, can move up to 3 extra spaces per turn as if it had flying. It means it can go over these rocks. Although I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to split up an action die. So if I were to, for example, move 3 spaces though it had flying, I'm actually not sure. That's not Regenair, so I guess it doesn't matter. I could do 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3 with flying, but am I allowed to end on rock since it doesn't actually have flying? It just gets to move 3 extra spaces as though it has flying. Not sure on that one, but I'm going to assume it needs to start and end this tailspin movement on solid ground, whereas Nosferatu just actually has flying in it. It can land on these spaces. Oh, and I need their little markers too. There we go. But 3 for extra movement is nothing to argue about. Fan attack is ranged, so let's spend a movement for Regenair. 1, 2, 3. Use 3 extra movement with Tailspin to go there. Fan attack has range 3. 1, 2, 3. We're still 1 away. So I guess we'll use another movement die. 1, 2, 3. Now we're actually in melee range, so we may as well use these dice that we rolled up. And Scratch doesn't benefit from a third die, so it just needs 2 dice to get the second number, which is 3. So let's spend 1 of its energy to do a Scratch. These 2 dice for 3 damage against Nosferatu with a modifier of -2 will be 1 damage, which actually doesn't even break the shield. So that was wasted, unfortunately. Not a good start for Reginair. Next up is Scorpio. Rolled a 2. 2 means it's going to want to target the RoboMon on my team that has the least health, which is Reginair. Actually, no. Pandal has 9 and 3 damage. So that's 6 remaining. Reginair is a big 10. So it wants to hit Reginair. Although if it couldn't reach, if I had been correct and it could, if it was going for Pandal but it couldn't reach, it would go for Reginair instead. But anyway, the attack it wants to use is Pinch. So it needs to get in range. It's got 6 movement, which is plenty. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it can stop and go ahead and use that melee attack Pinch for 3 damage. So we'll roll the basic modifier again. 3 minus 2 is 1. All right, at least the -2s are spread out evenly. So that's 1 on Reginair. Pandal's next, and we can use this to move 3. I guess we'll just use this action token here to move another 3. We're still too far away to use a fireball or anything. Well, no, we could use the wild, but that would cost us an energy to change the wild die, and we'd only be able to do a 1-point fireball, which would cost us another 2 energy, and we wouldn't be able to reach Nosferatu, so we'd be attacking Scorpio with a 1-attack fireball. And fire's disadvantaged against Earth. So this just doesn't make any sense. Let's go on to round. So Pandal's done, and Nosferatu can finally take its turn with a roll of a 2. He wants to target my highest health RoboMon, which is conveniently right next to it, with a Screech, which is a range attack, but it doesn't matter. So it's going to be 2 -2, 0. Nice. All right, -2s all around. Now I can roll up round 2 and give Reginair a chance to redeem itself. See a lot of yellow. RoboMon can move through other RoboMon, so I'm wondering if I want to have Reginair run away. Let's go ahead and have it do another Scratch attack. So I'm going to use this as a basic attack symbol. We're going to use a wild as a basic attack symbol, which costs 1 energy. We're going to Scratch, which costs 1 energy, so we have to spend 2, putting Reginair down to only 3. So he's fast, but not hitting hard. And we're going to target Scorpio because I think Pandal will have a better chance at targeting Nosferatu. We're going to try to do 3 damage plus 1. So 3 plus 1 is 4. 4 minus the 2 armor, which is now broken, is going to be 2. Scorpio has 6 health remaining. Then we will spend 1 of the movement dice to move. Reginair 1, 2, 3, and use Tailspin to fly 1, 2, 3 over to here. Protect itself. Scorpio is next, and 1 means it wants to drill our highest speed RoboMon, which is Reginair. Drill is range 2, but even 1, 2, it still needs a range 3. It's going to move its full speed of 6, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, now it is within range 2, so it can use drill. Just barely made it. So that's going to be 2 damage. Plus 2? Come on, man. I'm going to give the 2 armor here, and I guess it's got to take the other 2 damage and go up to 3. Thought about spending this wild, but I think I won't because I want to give it to Pandal because we're going to use this to move 3. 1, 2, 3. We still want to be able to fireball, I think, so I'm going to spend this as another movement, which costs an energy, and now we can go 1, 2, 3 more. May as well just get up close and personal. Fireball only has range 3 anyway, so we weren't close enough previously. And I'm going to use this special attack icon plus 2 dice to attack for 6. We could one-shot it. So fire doesn't have any advantage or disadvantage against air. You know, fireball is a typed attack, but we get plus 2. That's 8 damage. Minus 2 armor is 6. Nosferatu has 6. So we get to take it out before Nosferatu gets to have its turn, which means we're already back at the top of the next round. Taking a little bit of damage. It's a lot of armor. Gonna have trouble hitting a little bit. Yeah, I don't think Reginair is gonna get anything done with that, so I'm just gonna run away over to here with Tailspin. Scorpio gets a 4, which is a rock slide against an electric type if possible, otherwise a fire type. See that here with next to the 4, which we just rolled. And then 3 or 4 is a rock slide. It is a rock attack, and rock has advantage against fire. So not only is it going to be attacking Pandal, but it has advantage. Range 4 means 1, 2, 3, 4. It's only one space away, so it can use one of its 6 movement, but once it gets into range, it will stop. It actually needs to move 2 more spaces, but that will do it. 1, 2, 3, 4 way to use rock slide. Target has a speed of 0 next round. Next round, not this round, because Pandal hasn't gone yet. Next round. I think it should say on its next turn, but I don't know. It does say next round, so Pandal will still get to use speed normally this round. If it's alive, because that's 3 with advantage, although we do have 3 armor dice, so never mind. 3 plus 3 is 6. We'll block it all with these dice. Boom. So nice rock slide, but we're all movement and defense this turn. Although we will use a movement for Pandal now to move up into melee, and we'll use this attack token plus an attack die for a slam of 3. Actually, let's move another die and come up over to here, because now we can use the push on slam to push the Scorpio into the difficult terrain, which will do an extra damage. So let's go ahead and do that. 2 dice is 3. Black die means +1 this time, so that's 4 plus 1 push damage is 5. Actually puts it 1 health away, and we move on to the next round, during which Pandal will have a 0 movement. All right, some more armor, some movement, and some wilds. That's pricey on energy. What can Regener do? Well, 3 free movement is nice, and we're actually 1, 2, 3 range away to be able to use fan attack. So let's go ahead and use this as a special attack. Let's spend energy to turn a wild into a special attack. And we're going to use fan attack, so that costs us 2 more energy, and actually that's going to completely drain Regener, which means it'll be knocked out after this attack. So let's hope it's worth it. I think I must have forgotten to spend Pandal's fireball energy. Pandal has 11 energy. He's got a ton of energy. You are allowed to overspend energy. So I could actually have Regener spend another energy that it doesn't even have to use this wild as well for a 3 special attack energy for 4. So just for fun, let's do that. So we're attacking for 4. Air against earth has no advantage or disadvantage. So we'll roll the black die. 4 minus 2 is 2. Oh, but that's plenty. So doesn't matter. Scorpio only had 1 health left anyway. And I have to say, even though Regener did the finishing blow, I was not super impressed with its performance. So you're going to be on watch, Regener. So for defeating Minor Zeke, we get the win condition here, the prize of 4 silver and 2 batteries. So yeah, I'm going to have to write some of this down on my character sheet instead of keeping a bunch of silver tokens over here. But we're up to a nice little cache of dollars. 2 more batteries to make up for the 2 we spent catching our Armadigo, which brings us back to the cave. Continue walking around, and let's search this green little gemstone area sticking out. 3415. So the entry basically says there are a bunch of very precious, shiny, pristine gemstones. People have tried to dig them out, but the stones are stronger than the tools. If only you had the right tool. Then it says, if you have a mole digger, turn to a specific entry. I don't have a mole digger. I don't even know if that's an item or a RoboMon, but I'm going to write it down that if I get a mole digger, I'm going to come back to the Pyrite Cave on page 15 and look back at entry 34. It goes next to my other note about having a grappling hook for the beginning map. All right, let's go over here and explore 3915. Tempted by a distant glow, you enter the crevasse, squeezing between the tall cave walls. You are nearly on your tiptoes as you near the purple light and turn a corner in a bright cavern. The cave opens up into a massive forest of crystals, dense and thick as trees. They reflect and cut the light from somewhere high above. You can see yourself in them. And without thinking, you enter. You are mesmerized. As you move through, you feel anxious, a turn here and there, and you realize as you stare back behind you, you're lost. Space is an endless repetition of violets and magentas, and it binds you, and it blinds you to stare at any one thing for long. You feel something at your feet and see that it is some old things, perhaps of others who were lost here. It seems there are some valuables, and then immediately realize the problem with finding anything valuable here. Nobody would know the way back out. So I need to make an intelligence check, see if I can get out. My intelligence is a +2. This is my best one. I also have Treadle and Burn Viper around to help me with their intelligence symbols. I'm getting to add +4 to my roll of 2d6 A total of 13. Nice and plump. 10 plus. You are familiar with the ways crystals grow, but have to pull the memories from long ago. From a moment of learning with a neighbor when you were young, she would show you crystals and explain how they grew, and as you stare at the maze before you, remember that all the crystals slightly point toward water. Armed with this knowledge and some keen observation, you explore even further, looking for loot before you safely make your way out of the trap. In a battery, a silver, and a wire. Those are the treasures, huh? Battery, silver, and my 6th wire. Better be some good stuff. All right, let's go talk to this person here, 2615. And that's another battle. Battle music. Diver Winona. I may be a little wet behind the ears, but that doesn't mean I won't hang you out to dry. She only has one RoboMon, number 4, which is Pyrite. Where do I get one of these? This is a fire type. I guess I have enough fire types, but I do like frogs. And this is a swimming fire type, so it can move through water, which there is plenty of us on this map. Got an armor. 64 speed is pretty good. So let's get that set up. You know what? Just for variety's sake, let's use our Armadigo. Let's switch him out. Earth and air are both strong against fire, so let's take advantage of that. And also going to have 3 damage on it though for whenever we bring him back out. I did like that 11 energy. Armadigo only has 7. And Reginair is going to get another chance. 66 beats out 64 just by a little bit, but that means Reginair is first. I don't know if that is ideal, but that's the way it is. So we'll roll up our dice. Let's see what we get. A lot of movement. Okay, got an armor, basic attack, a wild, and the rest is movement. Sure, let's throw Reginair into the fray. So we'll use a movement for 1, 2, and waste the 3rd movement. We'll use Tailspin to move 1, 2, 3 as though it had flying. And another movement, 1, 2, 3, which puts it in range to use Fan Attack. Go ahead and grab our attack tokens. And I think I'm going to spend a wild as a star and use a star to do a fan attack for 3 damage. As you can see, air has advantage against fire, so we're going to roll the green die. So that is 3. Crit doubled to 6. And you know what? I totally forgot throughout my previous episodes that crit doesn't only double the damage, you also roll again. Who knows if that's going to change, but 6 plus 2 is actually 8. 8 minus 2 is 6 left, and that means Pyrite has only 1 health. Does go next, so it's going to get a little bit of revenge, theoretically, here. 3 means Pyrite wants to attack grass type, which we don't have, or an ice type, which we don't have, so it's just going to attack the closest. And the 3 means it's using Steam Burst, which is a fire type move. Fire does not have disadvantage. Even though air does have advantage against fire, fire doesn't have disadvantage against air. Air doesn't appear anywhere on here. So just going to be a black die, 4 damage, extra damage if it were in water, but we're not. So 4 minus 2 is 2, and we can block that with our armor die. So I feel like this is going to be a rough battle for Pyrite. Armadigo can move twice for 2 each. 1, 2, 3, 4. We can spend 2 energy to move 3 spaces using its burrow ability. So you can see down there. So let's go 1, 2, 3, and we're now 1, 2, 3 away. Rock Throw does have a range of 3. The range symbol has 3 dots next to it. That is a rock type move, and we can use its special attack token to make a single point of damage, but it's 1 damage with advantage. Pyrite only has 1 health left anyway, so we can't get a negative result on the green die. So advantage is relevant here. We do have to spend 2 energy, but I'm not worried about that because this should be the end of Pyrite. Plus 3, total of 4, overdoing it on Pyrite. Poor Diver Winona, but I want my own Pyrite. And for winning, we get 2 silver and a small repair kit. Now I have 2 small repair kits, and those can be used outside of battle to restore 1 RoboMon to full health. Right now, Pandal has the most damage. Actually, Reginair has 3 damage as well. It has 1 more hit point than Pandal does, and it's more mobile. Next up, there is a swimmer in the water. Let's see if she gives us any warning before we head out into the deeps over here. So 1915. So he's basically just waving at his friend on the shore, presumably the one we just defeated in battle, and letting them know about some strange seismic readings. Might be related to RoboMon, but they're way too consistent to be human. Of course, we have to check that out. There is a number on this page here, so 2215. So first up, let's just take a look at that murky water that we're going to be diving into. There's something at the bottom of that murky, ominous pool. You can just make out the form of a Gen 2 Robo-Shoveler? Do your eyes deceive you, or is that one of the precursors to the modern RoboMon? A volatile robot powered by a pocket-sized nuclear reactor and designed to safely mine precious minerals without having to send humans underground. It's not just an antique, but a valuable one. If you can get the serial number off it, you can report it to the RPS, the Robotics Preservation Society, and they'll send out a trained crew to retrieve it. Not to mention the reward. You get the attention of a nearby diver and ask for his help. Wow, a real honest-to-goodness robo-shoveler. My grandpa worked in the plant that manufactured these things. The diver is just as excited as you are when you explain what you believe is lying in the pool. He dives down and resurfaces moments later, bringing pictures of all 4 parts of the serial number. However, it looks like you've got some deciphering to do. Over here are the 4 parts of the serial number, and this is a 2-star challenge. So go ahead and pause and take a look at that. I'm going to come up with my own answer and then proceed. You manage to piece all of the serial number together, and the diver calls it in to the RPS. About an hour later, a representative shows up to confirm the find, and after signing your name and 26 times in a pile of government documents, he hands you a small bag of 17 silver. And that's the kind of silver I'm talking about. And that will mark the full exploration of the Pyrite Cave. You could search for more RoboMon, but I think I'm okay. Let's continue on the journey. Go up to page 17, and next time we'll be out of the cave and into the jetty. So stay tuned for that. There's a lot of fishing going on down here. Maybe I can finally get a fishing pole. But anyway, thanks for watching. Subscribe so we can get more subscribers, and bye.